Hello and welcome to the Jordenspeaks podcast. Welcome to the first episode of the Jordenspeaks podcast, which is a bit of a rebrand of my last podcast if you guys followed me then, but it's the same old Jordan coming to you with discussions about what's been going on this week, discussions about all the madness that we probably have seen on the socials, where I just have a bit of a rant, a bit of a rave about, a bit of a rant and rave. Yeah, why not? A bit of a rant and rave about what's been happening. I'm going to be asking you guys some questions, and hopefully at the end, I'll give you guys some helpful advice about how to tackle the week to come, because I'm sure there will be some other madness that kicks off during the week. So hopefully I could leave you with some helpful advice. And who is it talking to you? Who is it who is the host of this podcast? So as I said, my name is Jordan. Over my career, I have worked with hundreds of families who are going through all sorts of difficulties. And trust me, I have seen it all. But now I'm a coach for women, a life coach for women who just are ready to live their lives, who want to live. They want to live. They've been pouring into everyone else and they want to pour into themselves now. I am now a life coach for women. That doesn't mean this podcast is only for women. This podcast is for everybody. But you'll understand. Go with me here. You'll understand what this is all about. You'll understand whether it's for you, and hopefully you love it. Okay, so before we get started and before we jump into this week's episode, I'm going to need you to go ahead and follow me on my socials, to be part of the conversation, to be part of the community. And you can find me at Jordenspeaks pretty much everywhere. I live on TikTok. I live on Instagram. I'm on Twitter as well. I need to do better with my Twitter because I tweet, but I just tweet nonsense. But I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better with my tweeting. So follow me there as well to see my progression. But definitely follow me on TikTok and Instagram just to be kept updated with this podcast, to be part of the conversations and part of the community. But with that, let's jump into this week's episode. Yay! So you guys may or may not know that I love Reddit. I am a Reddit fan. And actually, if you go on my TikTok, you'll see that I'll often sometimes go through certain Reddit scenarios. But at the beginning of every episode of my podcast, I like to tackle a scenario. Why? Because why not? Why not? Reddit is the gift that keeps on giving. And I've said it once and I'll say it again. It's so helpful to get an insight into different scenarios people are having in their lives and to be able to understand situations and give your advice about situations. So I will start off every episode with a Am I the Arsehole scenario, and then you guys can decide whether or not you think they're an asshole or not. And I will open it up in the comments as well, because you lot usually have some really, really helpful comments as well. Because I will just draw to a conclusion. I've already done the assessment in my head. And yeah. So this week's Am I the Arsehole is my wife won't talk to me anymore. Okay, cool. My wife, 31F, and I, 46M, have been I'll say this every time. The numbers and letters really confuse me in every Reddit. I don't know why. I'm not a numbers person, but and obviously it's explaining their gender and their age, but it always throws me off. But anyway, sorry. So my wife, who's 31, and I, who's 46, have been together for 6 years, married for 2. She used to talk to me all the time. She used to share her day with me, just randomly tell me her thoughts, stuff like that. However, she also used to want to talk about our problems we are having a lot. Well, and I will comment throughout every Am I the Arsehole? So isn't that what a relationship is? You talk about the good times, but you also talk about the difficult times. That's what I thought, but let me carry on. It felt like we were always talking about what I did wrong. She thought I spent too much time talking to exes. We were friends. I don't prioritize her over work. It's my career. Am I supposed to quit? And mostly that I didn't care enough about her. It was so many different ways that she came to that conclusion, but it was like we were just always sitting down for a serious talk, because relationships are work. Relationships are work. So you have to talk about things in relationships, no? Let me carry on. So I told her about a year ago that I didn't want to talk anymore. I was just tired of hearing everything I was doing wrong. I provide everything we need. Can I just have a break? I told her that if she had a problem with the way I did things, that she could get out of my house and we'd get a divorce. Really? Really? This is what you said to your wife a year ago. Hold on. You could get out of my house and we'd get a divorce. That sounds like a threat to me. Okay. She told me that she was trying to communicate because she didn't feel appreciated and I had one foot out the door. But I think that's ridiculous. I know it's harsh, but it was my wit's end. Do you know what? I'm going to struggle to get to the end of this scenario, because you're clearly, like, you are the asshole, but let's get to the end. No. Let's get to the end. Let me not judge too quickly, but bro, what? Anyway. So now, a year later, she barely talks to me at all. That's what you asked for. You said, don't chat to me. Do you know what? If you tell someone to not talk to you and then they don't talk to you, why would you think you're not the asshole? If you tell someone, don't talk to me anymore, don't talk to me, and that person stops talking to you, you've asked for it. You've created a situation that you now don't like. No? You lot, get in the comments to let me know what you think. So now, a year later, she barely talks to me at all. When I ask her about her day, she says, fine. When I talk to her about work or politics or my day, she says, oh, wow, cool, and kind of walks away. Her attitude isn't bad. She's very sweet, but it's just like she doesn't care anymore. I don't want to talk about our problems anymore, but I didn't mean stop talking, period. We really don't talk about anything that doesn't have to do with our life or household. In the evening, she just turns on the TV and we watch something until bed. Do you know, you see, when a woman checks out of a relationship, this is what he just described here. And I don't think he's realized he's described that. She's checked out. So you mean to tell you to say that you're like, oh, like, babe, how are your day? And she's like, fine. And you're coming to her with something exciting, like, oh, yeah, guess what's happened to me today? And she's like, okay, cool. Let me just watch my shows. Can you move out the way? Grey's Anatomy's on. I need to. She's checked out because she was coming to you to talk to you about your problems. She was coming to talk to you about the relationship. She was coming to talk to you about how to make things better. And you didn't want to talk about it. You wanted to shut things down. And you know what she's done? She's shut things down. Oh. Now I don't know what to do, because I just found out today that she won a pretty big award at her job and she didn't tell me. Oh no. Last Friday, she said she had to work late and it was cool. I didn't ask. Today I found out that she was really at a dinner where she was celebrated for the award. She invited some of her friends and her mum and brothers. I ran into her brother at the store today and he mentioned the dinner and said that he was sorry I couldn't make it. I asked what he was talking about and he said the dinner, how I wasn't able to go because I was sick. I asked him to explain the whole thing to me, so now he knows too. So she made an excuse to not have you at the dinner, which celebrated an award she won. She's basically drawing up the divorce papers as we speak. Like, she's drawing up these divorce papers as you type, bro. Like, oh no. Okay. So he asks, what am I supposed to do? Is she punishing me or something? Do I tell her that I know? Why wouldn't she tell me? I didn't think she'd take it this far, and now I'm thinking she's being petty. Does anyone have experience here? I love my wife and I'd do anything for her, but I'm so confused. Oh, he edited it because I put the wrong gender. Anyway, there's another edit. So He says, wow, a lot of comments. A couple people are asking about the exes. I have close contact with three of my ex. Three! He says, I have close contact with three of my exes. My previous wife calls me when she needs to talk. So you can talk to your previous wife, but you can't talk to your current wife. My guy, come on. What? Her and her husband don't get along. I have two ex-girlfriends who I am still friends with, and I was friends with them when I met my wife now. My wife doesn't like them because she says that they cross boundaries, but honest to God, they are just friendly and we ended in good terms. It's nothing serious and I just don't want to give up my friends. Edit 2. You were right. Tried to talk to her last night. It didn't go well. I'll update you when I can get my thoughts together. So clearly people have been in the comments and said to him, you need to talk to your wife because she's not happy. She's checking out. He's gone to talk to her and the conversation hasn't gone well. As I've said to you guys, I have worked with hundreds of families. I have worked with couples. Communication is such a big deal. Like, obviously people say communication is key. Yeah. We get it. But it really is. Like, that's not an exaggeration. It really is key. If your partner is coming to you to tell you different things about the relationship, maybe things that she wants to be different, she's coming to you because you've done something to upset her, she's communicating with you, and you turn around and say, don't chat to me about this, I don't want to talk about it anymore, and if you continue to come to me with problems, you can get out of my house and we can get a divorce. What do you expect this woman to do? What do you expect this woman to do? And then on top of that, you are talking to your ex-girl. So you've got chat for your ex-girlfriends and your ex-wife. She has checked out of this relationship fully. I think it'll be hard not to. Because also you're also tone policing your wife. So you're saying you can come and talk to me about like the little things, but don't come and talk to me about any problems that we might have. And you think that's acceptable. I really hope, let me just have a look at the comments because there are so many comments on this. The first comment is, my guess is she's saving to leave him and grey rocking him until she can pull it off. People, so I love my wife and I do anything for her except have an actual relationship with her, except actually discuss the issues she wants to raise with you, except push for communication with her. You do anything for her? Really, bro? Like, really? People are saying similar to what I am saying because you are indeed the asshole. I would hope there's not another update. I might search for maybe next week's episode. I'll see if there's an update and I'll come back with an update of this episode. I would really hope they give it a go. They go to couples therapy. I am an advocate of all types of therapy. I really would hope this couple go to therapy. She has shut down. I hope the therapist could work with both of them to help her, one, open up, and him to address the fact that he shut his wife down, and they could work something out, because this is a communication issue which has escalated and now seems like, from her part, resentment. Now, resentment's hard to come back from, but it's not impossible to come back from. And I really hope they can work it out. But only if he is willing to put on the work, and only if she is willing to open up again, which is a hard thing to do when your partner has shut you down. Good luck to them. You are indeed the asshole, sir. You are indeed the asshole. But good luck. Let's get into the rest of the episode. So the title of this week's episode will be, we should all be more like Katt Williams. We should all be more like Katt Williams. So I finally was able to watch the episodes of Katt Williams on the Shay Shay Club, which is the program or the podcast hosted by Shannon Sharp in America. Cool. It was all over the socials. I am a fan of Katt Williams. I think he's hilarious. And I thought, let's go and see like what the hype is about. Like, why is everybody talking about Katt Williams? Like, why? Like, he's given us the first meme of 2024. Like, let me go and see. So I watched the interview in its entirety, and wow, everyone caught a stray. Katt, everyone caught a stray. I was like, whoa. Katt did the interview is 2 hours 46 minutes, I believe, because I watched it all day. Like, I watched it when I was getting ready in the morning. I was like out and about for work. I was watching it as I was traveling around. I watched it on my way home. It just took the whole day to watch this whole damn interview. He spoke about everything, and to me, it felt like it was a bit of a build up, because we know Katt Williams doesn't do a lot of interviews. We know that. So it seems to me that he's been watching people and his, fellow comedians have their interviews over the last like year or so. And he's been like, okay, cool, bet. He's been taking notes, and he's come to the Shay Shay Club, having a little drink with Shannon, and he's let it all out. Everyone, Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, Martin Lawrence, who else caught a stray? All of their wives, all of them. Imagine being at home, just chilling, and you're catching strays because you married a man. Just imagine the scene. Like, imagine the scene. How can all of their wives also catch strays? Ludacris, he chats about Ludacris. Who else he talk about? He just talked about everyone. He talked about the industry. He spoke about people that were saying he was on drugs. Like, he denies that. Kevin Hart. Woo! Spoke about Tiffany Haddish, Wanda Sykes. Like, he went in. But also, like, went in a way that is so... And so I know people are talking about the fact that he said that he's read like 3,000 books or whatever it is. I don't know the number of books Katt Williams has read. I don't know, whatever. But what I'll say is that he is a very articulate and intelligent man. And you could tell with the way that he puts his arguments forward. You can tell with the way that his critical thinking skills are top tier critical thinking skills. Like, even the way he answered the question about Kevin Hart, not Kevin Hart, sorry. Him and Kevin Hart, there's no love lost. But even the way that he spoke about Kanye and was like, why do we expect things from Kanye when it's very clear that Kanye is not well? Like, would we expect... I can't remember the analogy he used. Like, clearly my critical thinking skills are not as high as Katt Williams. I'll be working on that. But he just explained things so beautifully. Kim Kardashian caught a stray. Everyone caught a stray. But why this episode will be called "We Should Be More Like Katt Williams" is because if there's one thing Katt Williams does, is he advocates for himself. Katt Williams is his biggest supporter. He is his biggest fan and is his biggest cheerleader. We should be more like Katt Williams. He feels no way. There's no embarrassment. There's no... he's humble-ish. He's humble-ish, but there's no second thought about him telling you how successful he is. I think he was like, I am the greatest of all time. Like, I am the greatest of all time. Like, yes, I am. And just sort of sat back, and Shannon was like, okay. And I thought, do you know how much confidence you need to have to say, no, I am the greatest of all time. And actually no one can come and stand next to me. No one can say anything about that, because it just is what it is. And the naysayers have been naysaying, but ultimately I am who I am, and they all know that they're lying, and I am the greatest of all time. Do you know how much confidence to stand on that statement 10 toes down? Honestly, Katt Williams. Yeah. That was my takeaway from the interview. That's what we should be learning from this interview, is how to advocate for yourself the way that Katt Williams does. And I made a few other notes, actually. The second thing that I took away from the interview, and what I think we should learn to do more, is to support your friends. So Katt, I don't know, Katt Williams, clearly, if you are Katt's friend and you are in his inner circle, it seems to me that he is riding for you no matter what. No matter what. And if you wrong his friends or wrong his people who he loves and who he like holds in high regard, he is not messing with you. So even though Bernie Mac died, it must be about 20 years ago now. When did Bernie Mac die? A long time ago. Rest in peace, Bernie Mac. I think Bernie Mac was the GOAT personally. He's my favorite comedian, but obviously he's not here to be in this rumble. But Katt Williams is still riding for Bernie Mac, despite the fact that Bernie Mac died years ago. But Katt Williams is not letting it go that some people were maybe speaking untruths about Bernie. He's not having it. I mean, we all need friends like Katt Williams. He also spoke about, who else did he talk about? DL Hughley, who I think again is another great mind, creative mind. And it's very clear that Katt Williams is not messing with anybody who's got issues with DL. And he also spoke about Suge Knight. Now, Suge Knight is in prison because he did some very terrible things. And I think Shannon sort of touches on that. But he says that, you know, yep, we're friends, like we're cool. And he's trying to be a better person. So I'm gonna stand beside him. Katt Williams is, I'm gonna stick beside him. That's who Katt Williams is. I'm gonna stick beside him because he is sticking to his friends. If you're good to Katt, Katt is good to you. And that's something that I thought, wow, we should learn from that. What else did I say? Oh, Katt Williams may tell you a joke, but he is not telling you a lie. Now, yes, fine. He's a creative thinker. He is a comedian. I am sure that a lot of what he said was exaggerated. Fine. And as with any entertainer, I think we can accept that that's a very big possibility. But from my perspective, I don't know the ins and outs of the comedian inner circle. I don't know what's going on with all these other things or whatever. It seemed to me that Katt Williams did not present as if he was lying. He didn't present it as if he was lying. And it also presented that he is willing to stand 10 toes down on everything he said in that interview. Let me ask you this. When have you been so clear in your conviction that you can stand 10 toes down on what you think and believe, knowing full well that it is going to be challenged by the world when seen? When was the last time you were able to say or do that? Because Katt knows that this episode is going to go out. He knows it's going to be challenged. He knows there's going to be responses. I think there's really been responses from Gary Owens. I think there's already been Ludacris responded. I haven't seen other responses, but you know, when you're going to go onto a show and say stuff like this, that people are going to respond to you. Everyone's going to have an opinion. Here I am, little old me, on my podcast, also with an opinion. And he has stood 10 toes down on everything that he has said. When have you been able to do that? When have you had the conviction to do that? Katt Williams was not messing about. So one, he is his biggest advocate. Self-confidence through the roof. I am the greatest of all time. Two, he advocates for himself and he advocates for his friends. You can't chat rubbish about Katt Williams' friends. He's not here for it. Three, he 100% is standing in his conviction, whether or not his statements are going to be challenged or not. He's standing on his conviction. He's standing on his statements. And the last thing, which I feel like we should learn from Katt Williams, why we should be more like Katt Williams, he's doing great gestures, grand gestures in secret. So Shannon asked him about the fact that there are these stories of people just receiving money from him, or women sending people money. And I think that the question was, the way Shannon phrased the question, I was like, what? Katt's got women doing what? But it was more so about this idea that when Katt Williams is out and about and he sees a comedian that's doing really well, he will send somebody, and he made it clear that his entourage are mainly women because he likes a company of women. Fair enough. Who doesn't? He'll send someone to go and give that comedian some money, or like just to celebrate that comedian, or to you know, just to give somebody something. That's what Katt Williams does. So he spoke about, so Shannon was saying that there's incidents of people coming up to like comedians in the club and like well done, like your set was sick, like here's like handshakes with money. And Katt Williams was like, yeah, I do. Like, why not? If I've got the means to give someone something, then why would I not give them something and celebrate them? Because he knows how the industry is. He knows that sometimes, you know, you're not going to be getting paid a lot for your set. He knows that comedians can often, if you're making their way through the industry, up the ladder, that they're struggling. Why not give money where he can and celebrate somebody? And I just thought, again, Katt Williams, I am a big fan, because if you have the means to do that, then why not? And then lo and behold, I think there was two comedians that, one white guy and one black guy, I don't know their names, but they both released like Instagram statements and said, yep, they both did different shows in different states. After their set, someone came up to them and like was like, oh, I'm here with Katt, or whatever it is, like, oh, like shook their hand, like, well done for tonight, here's some money. Or like they walk out and they open their hand and there's like $2,500, or like there's like there's money, more money than they've earned for the set. Imagine being able to bless people like that. Katt, we should all be more like Katt Williams. That's a statement I'm about to stand on and I'm going to have conviction on. We should all be more like Katt Williams. And that interview, for me, that's what I took away from it. That's what I took away from it. We should all be like Katt. We should advocate for ourselves. We should be self-assured and self-confident. We should ride for our friends who are good. If you're good to me, I will be good to you. And we should give blessings where we can give blessings. That's it. I love Katt. I'm going to support him. I feel like he's going to get so much backlash for this interview, which is already doing the rounds. I thank Katt for giving us all of the memes. Like, I'm going to be enjoying the memes that Katt Williams has given us in this one interview alone. He set the internet on fire. 2024 is probably his year. And yeah, so we should all be more like Katt Williams. So before I wrap up this week's episode, I should give like you guys some like lasting advice, some Jordenspeaks advice, because that's what I do. The biggest piece of advice I'm going to give to you guys this week is to advocate for yourselves. Be like Katt. If somebody is saying something which you do not agree with, then you open your mouth and you disagree with it. If you feel that you need to be celebrated, then you request and require the celebration. If something happens on your watch that you feel like you want to comment on it. Start the year off strong. Advocate for yourself in all circumstances. And it's hard. It's easier said than done. Like, I know I struggle to advocate for myself at times as well, because it's hard. It's hard with the attention being put on you. It's hard to formulate the idea of what you want to say. It's difficult, but it's so worth it. That's the advice I'm going to give to you guys. as I close today's episode. If you have enjoyed today's episode, if you feel like you want to be part of the community, you want to comment on some of the things I've said, then by all means, follow me at Jordenspeaks on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Twitter. If you disagree vehemently with what I've said in this episode, follow me and comment also, because why not? Let's have a chat about it. If you think we should be anything but Katt Williams, then comment and let me know. If you don't agree with my advice, then comment and let me know at Jordenspeaks. And also, if you are a woman who you are trying to live this year, 2024 is your year. You are doing all the things to make sure that you have the best year of your life, like you're ready to turn over a new leaf, then follow. And also check my bio, because I'm growing a community. Great things are going to be happening in my community this year. So subscribe to that. Guys, thank you so much for being with me on this week's episode. I love you being here with me on my journey on this podcast, and go and be great. From your favorite coach, Jordan. Bye.